Alrighty, welcome everyone to episode 6 of the Overdose Peak Season Power Series. It's our final episode today, so thank you everyone for tuning in, as well as anyone who's tuned in to the previous 5 episodes. We've built this 6-part series for digital and e-commerce professionals who want to sharpen their peak season performance fast. Each episode is packed with practical insights that you can put to work straight away. If you've missed anything so far, you can find the full lineup on our site. We'll share the link at the very end of this episode and give you all the details of that. As well, our door is always open to your curiosity, your thoughts, and your questions. I'm Jake, a digital marketing lead here at Overdose, based out of Melbourne. And joining me are 2 of our amazing senior digital marketing managers, Shae and Kashish. Shae is joining us out of Brisbane, and Kashish, usually based out of Melbourne, but currently in India, where it's about 6 a.m. So absolute dedication to the final episode of this series, which is awesome. Over the next 20 minutes or so, we'll be diving into some of the latest ad platform features and campaign types to explore this peak season, as well as some practical kind of reminders and things to look out for as we roll into November. We'll follow that by a quick Q&A and wrapping up with some of the key takeaways. So I'll pass over to Shae and we can get straight into it.
Awesome. Thanks, Jake. Enhancements. Meta, I'm wondering actually if you guys can comment in the stream, who loves or absolutely hates Meta's enhancements at the moment? They're a little hit and miss, but we are finding that they are essential to better performance with ads. So at the moment, there's quite a few different options in there, and I'm continually seeing so many more new ones being added every day, and they pop up when you least expect them. If you're not testing these, you are getting behind. So, making sure that you're talking to your team who do your Meta ads is essential in terms of what AI enhancements within Meta you're happy to run with your ads. You've got music on your static ads. You've got dynamic product feeds that can be put onto static ads as well. So not just your dynamic product ad types, but special features that show different product sets, multiple copy options. So it's looking a lot more like what you see with a responsive search ad on Google now. You can do a very similar thing that customizes which copy is served at headline, primary text, and description level for different users in the ads auction. A couple of my favorites, recommended comments, I always have that one on. I do try and have music on where it's approved by brands. It's a little hard when the music isn't amazing, so you can actually go into Sound Library and pre-select ones that you are happy to run for your ads as a brand. Show products where it's relevant with the product tagged feature, and then flex media. That one's great for making sure that your video or ad content can be cropped for different placements automatically. So it takes a little bit of that effort out, but it makes sure that your creative looks at the best it can across different placements. There's a few other ones here like visual touch-ups on video and enhanced CTAs. I remember testing enhanced CTAs when it first became available, and it was a bit hit and miss. It does look at your copy on your landing page as well as your ad copy, and then customizes what it serves as a CTA rather than the standard shop now, sign up CTA buttons. But lately it's improved, so it's worth testing that one again. Kashish, have you used any? Do you have any favorites?
I think it's a hit and miss for enhancements for sure, but a key call out there was around that adapt placements that we have now available. Really helps look your collection ads like seamless in the profile. So been loving that. And then apart from that, as you mentioned, relevant comments, super handy to have in there. Also show products, a big fan of that as well.
Nice. Back to you, Jake.
Awesome. And on the SEM side of things, look, I'd be pretty surprised if PMAX wasn't a key part of most of your campaign mix in the upcoming sales season. obviously really critical, that shopping environment. And there are a few enhancement features to call out here. So firstly, similar to those enhancement features across Meta that Shae and Kashish just talked about, you've got some options here. Let's say you're a bit limited to a single landscape video asset that you've run historically across YouTube. You want to expand that to be able to better place your ads in, say, YouTube Shorts within PMAX. It's delivering in those placements. You can consider looking at that resizing feature confidently because it's using your existing asset. So assuming that's obviously on brand, this is a relatively safe toggle to turn on. But in terms of perhaps an enhancement or a feature that is more impactful in terms of your results this peak season, it'd be that final URL expansion and text customization feature. So ideally, PMAX is operating predominantly as a shopping campaign, but search is probably the next placement that is on the list in terms of what that campaign is delivering for you. So allowing Google here to expand to other URLs that it finds relevant based on the products that you're targeting has been a feature that we've had good experience with in the past. So there was actually a client where we had some concerns about it branching into maybe less relevant URLs, and it was turned off, but it turned out to be a really key contributor to a lot of the performance. So it was promptly reactivated, and we did some review of exactly where it was driving traffic. And the pages were certainly relevant. I think a key tip here, or a couple of call-outs, is starting off with strong URL exclusions from the get-go. So think about non-commercial pages on your site, privacy policy pages, shipping pages, maybe blog content. Go straight down to the footer of your website. It's usually where a lot of that will be held, and you can use those links as exclusions in your campaign just to give it the best foot forward. Equally, have a little bit of a think about if you've got multiple campaigns, the overlap between the categories across those campaigns and excluding certain URLs and categories so that each campaign is really targeting and driving traffic to those specific campaigns.
Perfect. I think with enhancements, TikTok also came up with its own version of it, which is fairly exciting because in the recent past, what we have found is that TikTok is becoming one of those key platforms that advertisers are now advertising on to reach out to a younger demographic, a different type of format, a different type of content that we can roll out and kind of build that one-on-one relationship with the users. In terms of enhancements that TikTok has come up with in the recent past has been around optimizing your copy, visuals, templates. And the best part about this is all supported by A/B testing. So for some of our clients, we've been testing out these A/B features with the AI optimizations that are available, and it's a great way to see which works and which don't work, and then rolling it out across the board for us. Another aspect there has also been the TikTok Creative Center that has now been made available with regards to benchmarking, which is super handy to give us insights into what is performing in the market. And it kind of takes out the guesswork based on what other competitors are doing, what your niche is doing, what are some of the trends within your current category. We have been using this a fair bit for creative analysis, also looking ahead for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. And this tool has come in really handy to see what the market is doing and then adapting that into our strategy so that it's best suited. So with TikTok, the AI enhancements have been a pleasant change, and keen to see how that further evolves. And I'm sure following what Meta is doing and what we are seeing on the SEM side as well, this would probably evolve into a bit more of an AI optimization that would be available soon on the platform as well.
And this leads us to one of my favorite topics at the moment, Andromeda. Let us know in the comments if you've heard or you've taken a deep dive into what it is. But pretty much it is the new way that Meta shortlists ads before it even gets to the auction. And then it goes through and matches those winning ads to each user and then serves it in the auction. It rolled out fully in about July this year. So, it's a good time to have a look. Have you seen any major drops from July onwards, year on year, or even period on period? It's great to also review your content strategy at the moment. So we do need to look at, are we giving the platform enough volume of creative and also variety? So Andromeda, it looks at your creative, it looks at your landing pages, and also the user signals in terms of how they're interacting with your ads before it even gets to the shortlisting stage. A couple of key things that we do recommend is, prioritizing your creative variety and volume. So that means, potentially increasing the amount of volume you're putting in each week or bi-weekly. Uploading variations for each creative concept. So that could be different hooks. It could be different styles of creative, text overlay versus just plain imagery. Appealing to different motivations of your key customers, emotions, as well as messaging. Ensuring you have the best quality, high quality custom audiences and lifetime value custom audiences in the platform, as well as CAPI, is quite essential to helping the platform work properly with these variations of ads. Advantage Plus shopping is one of the key campaign types and also features that we do recommend embracing with your content strategy to be able to make Andromeda work for you. So if you're not using this or testing, creative variety at the moment, you will end up behind because eventually everyone's going to be doing it, and you want to know, okay, cool, we've tested this creative quite quickly, it's worked well, we've turned off the ones that haven't worked, and then moving from there. So having that feedback loop with your teams as well as your creative team that make the content is really, really important. In terms of looking at what's working and what isn't, it's great to look at in-platform, but you want to be able to measure the impact by your profit, uplift, MER, CAC, not just the in-platform metrics, because they only tell one side of the story. So yeah, if you do have any questions, feel free to pop them through. There's been quite a bit of testing done on Meta's side in terms of having that creative diversification. So you can see here, increased efficiencies, incremental reach as well. But we've seen quite a big change for a few clients that have uploaded, and their frequency of, the diversity of their creative has increased. They've done really well in platform for making it work for them. So, now is the time, getting ahead of peak season is the time to, look at reviewing a creative strategy, talking to your teams, getting a variety in place, and moving forward with that. Over to you, Jake.
Great. And on the SEM side of things, so creative obviously is a really critical part of social activity, but more and more, I'd say, in this sort of AI landscape that we're operating in, the information in your images, I guess, is going to be more critical as we move forward. So obviously, like handset manufacturers have been touting features like visual search for quite a long time. We now have obviously AI chat tools that are multimodal and can interpret images as well as text. And now AI mode itself in Google rolling out this month, which is brand new, hot off the press. This is also a way in which you can engage with Google in a different way. And the way in which it's going to be able to interpret images is going to be more important moving forward. So if you want to really deep dive into kind of optimizing your feed for peak season, I'd recommend going back to episode 2 of the Power series, where B and our marketing director, B, and Ash from Google, ran through all things product feed optimization. But just a couple of call outs and reminders here. Ensuring that you're using the additional image link attributes in Google Merchant Center, and you've got a variety of images there. If lifestyle images are appropriate for your brand, there is a lifestyle image link. attribute as well. Would recommend getting that uploaded as well into your product feed. But one of the key callouts on this slide really is, if not available and if you're somewhat limited to in your images and your content, Google's come quite a long way in terms of the in-platform tools that are available to help you bridge that gap and that content gap and make sure that you've got strong creative. So there's Product Studio within Merchant Center, but now in beta is Asset Studio across Google Ads. So this allows you to cut down longer form video content into shorter, snappier 10-second or 6-second outputs. And I know that Shae's had some success with this for a few clients, but equally from that lifestyle image perspective, let's say you've got some relatively bland product images. This allows you to input a seed image, create a bit of a prompt of what you're looking for in terms of a background and a look and feel. And honestly, having mucked around with this, the outputs can be, quite good. It's come a long way. So I know there's a lot of tools out there that you can use for this type of stuff, but certainly don't discount what's available in platform. The assets can drop straight into your asset library for use across your campaign. So it can make things really easy to bridge a little bit of a content gap as you roll into peak season. Awesome. And diving straight into a few new campaign types across various platforms. So first it was Performance Max, and now it's AI Max for search. So this is a bit of an evolution of search within Google Ads to be a bit more expansive. So going beyond just those traditional keyword signals and landing page terms from a dynamic standpoint, but also accounting for information, as I mentioned before, contained in images. So it's becoming a bit more multimodal in that perspective. People are really changing the way in which they're searching. I certainly am. I'm almost looking for an AI overview in Google to pop up and give me a really summarized answer for something that I'm typing. So I'm tending to type much longer queries into Google. And I think this is the trend, and the information that we're seeing is that search terms are becoming much longer than they were previously. Equally, and this is sort of pretty hot off the press, is that obviously ads are going to be rolling out very shortly in these AI overviews within Australia. So this is really going to be really important to lean into these campaign types such as AI Max, Performance Max, and these AI solutions to put your best foot forward in terms of appearing in these new ad placements in this kind of new world that we're rolling into. So from an AI Max perspective, our experience has been quite strong initially. We've been testing this across pretty much all of our clients and running these campaigns alongside another version of the campaign there. Queries that it's being picked up, you can clearly see in your search term report what's been matched by AI Max, so that you can understand where you're getting that incrementality beyond what you were previously getting in maybe one of your more traditional search campaigns. And equally, in terms of the ad copy and the headline groupings that it's grabbing from your landing pages, we found that it's been quite good. The relevance is really high, but these are things to keep a really close eye on. So you obviously want to make sure that search term report is relevant. The ad copy that it's generating for headlines is on brand and aligned with your messaging. And similar to that call out with Performance Max before, starting off with a strong URL exclusion base is also recommended to get the most out of this campaign. But we have been seeing some strong results there. Shae, I think you had a couple of wins from a few of your clients to perhaps call out in the AI Max space.
So quick snapshot there of one of my clients' results. It was driving a better return, lower cost per purchase. It was even more cost efficient. So we actually rolled that out across that particular generic search campaign. Obviously, we needed to monitor the search terms coming through. We did see a couple of competitor terms that we didn't want to target, so went through and just made sure they were excluded. But overall, seeing some good results so far. Testing early's definitely helped, and it's only going to improve from here. But there was a few terms there that we weren't previously targeting that we have now added into the account. It just opens up new opportunities as well. Cool. Awesome.
Great. Diving into demand gen here as well. So this is sort of rounding out Google's power pack of PMax, AI Max, and demand gen. Not quite as shiny and new as AI Max, but certainly a campaign type that is worth considering for this peak season. It blends the likes of display and YouTube placements, but also expanding into channels such as Gmail and Discover to offer a solution that can drive quite healthy reach and relatively efficient CPM metrics, but also has a bit more of a focus on traffic and conversion depending on what your priority is. So somewhat a little bit of a bridge between that awareness and that conversion layer, alongside something like PMax, where a lot of that spend is typically shopping and search. This is a great way in which you can enable some of that promotional messaging to extend to certain YouTube placements or that display network or Gmail. So it enables you to get that promotional messaging out in front of more users at quite efficient rates. So things to keep an eye on though here are session quality metrics in GA4. So not only looking at just in-platform metrics and how things are performing from an engagement standpoint, but how's that session quality in GA4? Are people spending time on your site and visiting multiple pages? That's really important to keep a close eye on. You also have a lot of ways in which you can slice and dice the numbers here. So looking at what networks are performing best for you and what placements. Is Gmail underperforming? Is YouTube doing really well? What's that Discover placement looking like? And you can toggle certain placements on and off depending on your performance and where you really want your ads to show. And equally, it's going to be a campaign type where it's going to be important if you are looking for conversions here, looking at the assisted conversion reporting in Google Ads. So what's happening after people are viewing your ads and not necessarily clicking. This will give you a little bit more insight into how this campaign is potentially leading to conversions down the line.
Perfect. Going on to Smart Plus campaigns that TikTok has come up with this year. So Smart Plus is the AI-powered solution for TikTok in terms of the campaign structures that we have. We have been testing this across a couple of our clients, and we are seeing some great results coming through. Of course, it has taken out those thinking around bidding and placement also with regards to targeting. So just having those controls with TikTok and kind of seeing which creative performs better has been quite interesting to see in the account, because these campaigns, what we are finding is are outperforming some of our manual setup campaigns. At the same time, the creative that are performing well in these campaigns are not necessarily the creative that was performing better in one of our manual campaign setups. So it's a bit of a learn as we go kind of a strategy with these Smart Plus campaigns that we have now available. Some key wins from the testing that we have done across these campaigns have been that the return on ad spend has been higher as compared to our other conversion-focused campaigns. Also, in terms of the CPCs and the views that we are getting from our traffic campaigns, the Smart Plus campaign setup has seen more efficient results there. Alongside the return on ad spend as well is, of course, higher when you're looking at Smart Plus conversion-focused campaigns. So when we're looking at heading into peak, I think Smart Plus becomes one of those key campaign types and structures to have in place alongside your other campaigns, so that we're covering all bases there. And then another call out there is just around creative diversification with Smart Plus. Given that it's AI focused, it's also automated, and we are using creatives based on the user interest, I would recommend having like anywhere upwards of 6 creatives within that campaign. Anywhere lower, we are seeing really high frequency and not as strong results. But when we are providing that creative diversification to the platform, we are seeing those great uplifts come in performance. And they're not necessarily ads that we are uploading. They're also Spark ads, any influencer content in there. That combination of creative diversification has been a great lever to pull to bring in success for these Smart Plus campaigns overall. So this one is something that I was really, really excited about. Is the search ads beta that was rolled out. So at the moment, search ads in TikTok are only available from memory in the US, Canada, and the UK regions. It is in beta in the AU region, which means that if you were to opt into this beta, you would get the first movers advantage within the market, which is exceptional in itself. But also, why search ads are such a big part of TikTok now, because we have known this for a while that TikTok is now moving towards a search engine for a lot of users, specifically those young users. And these users are not only using the search bar to look for content, but also some of the search terms that they're looking for have a high commercial intent behind it. For instance, somebody's looking for the best foundation for oily skin, or they're looking for shoes for a night out, or they're also they're going for a trek, they're looking for recommendations for a backpack. All of these things show that they are looking for a commercial intent behind it, and these are places that we can now leverage with ad placements. If we have anything to offer in that particular product or category, with these search ads, they will now display on the search ads result page. So with regards to relevancy, we can see which category performs best and then use those search terms. Alongside, I think with search ads, it's a good way to integrate your SEM activity. So we have a dearth of knowledge in terms of like what performs on TikTok in terms of search terms, but we know that there's a wealth of information around keywords available on our SEM side of things. So using that data could be a great starting point for search ads on TikTok. And then based on what performs best on the platform, we can of course optimize and hone up our strategy there, and then feed it also back into our SEM strategy so that it's all cohesive and we're looking at search intent overall. um, Apart from that, I think with search ads, something to keep in mind is just around the keyword types that you're targeting. We have something similar that we had on the SEM side around phrase, broad, and exact. So, of course, something to keep in mind, if you have like broad terms targeting, there might be some irrelevant terms that will be coming through. So, keeping an eye on those campaigns as you go live, just to ensure that there is that high level of relevancy with the product and the ads that you're putting out there. And then lastly, on search ads, something that probably to keep in mind is that these search ads would, in the near future, also be available on the AI overviews that are available on TikTok in that software that's called Taco. So that's again something to keep in mind when we're looking at search ads and optimizing to be future proof in terms of platform strategy there. Over to you, Jake.
Brilliant. So I've got a couple of little call outs here on the PMAX side of things. As I mentioned, really critical part of the strategy for this peak season. And there's been some very welcomed updates over the last year or so within Performance Max to provide advertisers with a lot more visibility into where spend and performance is coming from. Firstly, as you can see in the screenshot there, channel reporting visualization within platform is rolling out. So you can see within Performance Max how much is going to shopping, search, discover, and these different types of placements, and also where your revenue is coming from as well. And I'll talk on the next slide in a second about if you're seeing a potential mismatch between cost and performance. But just before we do that, another really welcome change is that the search term report throughout the year has become a lot more granular, similar to what we're all familiar with across search campaigns. So you're getting a lot more visibility into where your spend is going at a search term level, with the ability to apply campaign level negative keywords as well, so that you can improve your efficiency. So worth doing a review and a look back of your search query report in PMAX over the next few weeks ahead of peak season, just to make sure it's spending in all the right areas. And a little call out here is I would say that people are probably quite familiar with PMAX acting a little bit like a branded search campaign at times. So again, you can get this kind of with that channel report, as well as your search term report, you can start to put the pieces together here. Let's say that you've got 10% of spend going into search, but it's contributing about 40% of revenue. Might be that it's performing a bit like a branded search campaign there, and you can look at ways to address that. And one of the features that has just rolled out is the little toggle in that screenshot. Might be a little bit hard to see, but you can now apply a exclusion of a brand list. So let's say you create a brand list of your branded keywords. You can say, I don't want to appear for these in search, but I still want to appear for them in shopping listings, so that you can make sure that you are competitive in that shopping carousel, where no doubt there's going to be competition as well, maybe less so on the search side, but it allows you that little bit more control over exactly where your spend is going. And the last call out here just on PMax is a reminder about a bunch of the tools that have rolled out throughout the year around customer segment controls. So the key one being new customer acquisition targets and really honing in on new customers. So on the flip side, we know that it's going to be really important to get in front of people that have been on your website or their past purchases to try and re-engage them during a sale period. But data also shows that customers are very willing during these sale periods to explore new brands. So it's important to get in front of new users. And this feature here within the Google Ads account, the new customer bidding, could be a great option to spin up a campaign for the next little bit, start to test it in the lead up to peak season and get in front of some net new users so that you can try and convert them during this upcoming sale period. It's going to be really important, obviously, to sync customer data and customer lists, ideally from your CRM and other platforms, and assign them a customer type to say that these are existing customers, so that Google can really understand what is actually a new user and that the campaign functions as best as it can. We've had some great success with a couple of clients on this, so definitely recommend exploring it if you haven't already.
Awesome. And incremental attribution. So Meta rolled out earlier in the year the ability to change up your attribution model. They rolled out one called incremental. It aligns more closely with GA4 and other attribution models. We have done some testing, but before I go into that, it uses a holdout segment of user data and users in general to teach the model what ads directly influence a purchase behavior. It looks terrible in platform if you're looking just at the platform metrics. So, it's advisable that you do look at, GA4 if you are doing an A/B test between campaigns, between, 7-day click, 1-day view versus incremental, and comparing them. Obviously in platform's great, but looking at GA4 or your other attribution models and being like, okay, which one's converting better? Which one's driving a better return? It's a great way to also prove to stakeholders that Meta is worth having as a channel. That's a constant conversation that we have. Why are we spending on Meta? We're not seeing the return, but this is a better way of, testing it first. This is a better way of seeing that direct impact. We know that Meta does love to take credit for a variety of conversions along the path to purchase, no matter where the final kind of touch point is. This just gives you a better idea in terms of being able to scale which campaigns or ads are going to drive that return. Cost per purchase generally will be higher in platform. You might see very similar CPCs, click-through rate, but it's that return and conversion rate in GA4 that will give you the idea of, okay, it's worth having on. We've actually rolled this out across quite a few clients that have tested it, and it's worked for them, and we're seeing really good results in terms of scaling for the channel and overall for their website. So it's worth testing now if you can get something live now before your sales go up, just to get an idea on is it worth changing to that model. Final takeaways. Jake, would you like to take us through?
Absolutely. So we've got a couple of call outs here, just summarizing a few things that we've talked through today. So ahead of peak season, setting up ads early to allow time for review is really important. It gets busy during that peak season, a lot of ad reviews. So as early as you can allows you time. You're not scrambling with ads pending when they should be going live. So that's really important. Creative diversity and volume in particular are going to be really important for this peak season and beyond. a reminder on those enhancements to explore them and lean into them. Those ones that are appropriate for your brand and that we mentioned are a bit safer in terms of providing a user experience that's quite optimal. Explore structures that allow you to focus on new customers. So that Performance Max new customer acquisition is a great example there. Leaning into those AI solutions from Google in terms of that power pack. So a few campaign types if you haven't tested them already. AI Max being a key one, I would say, in the next couple of weeks to get off the ground. And then making sure that you're feeding really high quality first party data into your platform. So not necessarily one that we harped on too much about today, but that is obviously a very, very important part of reactivating the right users and sending the right data to Google to make your campaigns or to all of your platforms to make them work as effectively as they can. Now that pretty much wraps us up today. If you do have any questions, please feel free to drop them down and we'll try and get to them. But if not, just a call out and a thank you to everyone for tuning in. So as I mentioned, this is our final episode. So appreciate everyone tuning in over the last six weeks. All episodes, as well as the slides, are all going to be available for download on that link there. So overdose.digital/peak-season-power-series. So you can go to that and get all of the episodes, keep them in the bank when you need them this peak season. But again, thank you everyone and enjoy peak season.